Hey, I'm Talia, 31, from New Zealand, been living in London for 3 years now, work in HR and property and investment, and I've been working with Miles at EMF for just over 6 months.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, welcome,
Thank you.
welcome. How are you feeling in regards to your fitness now? Talk to me.
I'm feeling good. This last 16 weeks of this recomp has been incredible. I'm feeling the fittest I've ever been, the healthiest I've ever been. My mentals are really good. I've just loved the journey so far, so I'm stoked to be here.
Amazing. Take us back. So, where did it all start for you then when it comes to your fitness journey? Because you're not new to training, right?
Correct.
Talk to me about kind of like your fitness journey up until we actually got started working.
Yeah, cool. So I have a bit of a sports background. I've been heavily involved in netball, swimming, and CrossFit my whole life. I've represented my country in netball. I swam at a national level and for a short period of time got into CrossFit, which was pretty cool. So I have a relatively good understanding of fitness, well-being, how your body moves. But I got to a certain age, I think I was about 26, 27, and I was sort of like, okay, I want to be a bit more intentional with how I train. I want to sculpt my body to look a certain way. And then that's when I first had my first ever coach. And that was a great introduction to hypertrophy training, how to eat, what to eat, and how to move. And then obviously I moved to London and I sort of tried to manage it for myself a bit. Wasn't as good, wasn't as accurate. I was traveling, I was working long hours. It sort of was on the back burner, something that I like to do, but wasn't as intentional as what I could have been. And then obviously met you at Richmond back in the day, a couple of years ago now. Saw obviously you were training people, was really inspired by that. Still sat on it for a little bit. Was like, oh, what is it that I want to do?
They always
That's what they always say. Takes a little while to get there, but after some time, I had watched how many lives you had transformed and how committed the EMF members were to you, your program, and the service that you provide. And so I thought, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm going to message you. I think you're in Idahoven at the time having one of your retreats. And I was like, nah, this is a bit of me. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So that brings us to here.
Exactly. So for you, right, a lot of people, they'll listen to kind of your experiences when it comes to training. You've competed at a high level, you've been in performance, you've
Yeah.
been in pretty good nick for the best part of your life, right? What kind of pushed you to say, look, do you know what? I do still want to take it up another level, because some people can be in that position and think, do you know what? I know what I'm doing to the best part. You've had a coach before.
Yeah.
And they kind of get into their heads like, oh, do you know what? I know what to do. There's enough information out there for me to kind of do it myself. What pushed you over the line and say, hey, look, I think I need a bit more?
Yeah, that's a great question. I sort of got to a point where I was like, oh yeah, you look all good. You've managed it for yourself for a little while now. However, I just wanted intention with how I trained. I wanted a bit more accountability and I wanted someone to help me get there. Obviously, following you in your journey, I know you know what you're talking about. I've seen the results and I was just sort of like, if not now, when? So that's why I took the leap of faith to come and join you.
Amazing. Good. So how would you say things have kind of changed for you over the past 6 months?
Yeah, things have changed dramatically. I think when I, not only the last 6 months, but this last 16 weeks specifically committing to this like recomp and photo shoot, a lot of things have been highlighted to me in my external world. For example, not everyone's going to understand why you're doing a recomp. Not everyone's going to get it. And
Sure.
actually, that's okay.
Sure.
Everyone has their own personal goals and mine just happened to be, I want to look a certain type of way. Some people might say, oh, that's just, that's shallow, that's fake. But no, I take so much pride in how I look, what I eat, how my body feels, and above all, what my mental capacity is. And I think that's been huge for me over the last 16 weeks. It's like, yeah, I'm in such good nick. I'm in such a good space mentally. So that's been sick. Yeah.
Amazing. And have you found that that's had a knock-on effect to those around you in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it highlights for me some people in my circles, and this is okay, this is life, right? You cross paths with people for reasons, but for me specifically, it's highlighted that, as I said, some people aren't going to get it, and that's okay. And some friendships might fade, or family members might not get it. But those who do, or who you surround yourself with, especially in the EMF community, they get it. They show up for you, they support you, and that has been one of the coolest things for me to experience over the last sort of 6 months.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Good. Would you say the environment and having a supportive network really matters, or do you feel like it's something which you could probably get away with by doing it your own?
That's such a good question, and the reason why I'm laughing is because when I first joined EMF, I was sort of like, "Nah," like, I've always just been a silent worker. I've just enjoyed getting on with my graft and just doing it in the background, showing up for myself, not really doing a big sort of song and dance about it,
Mhm.
and so that actually was my intention coming in and working with you. I was like, "Just get on with it, do it, that's it." But, um, you actually had a community event where back in September, and I was like, "Oh, should I go? Should I not? Like, I'm happy with where I'm at." And I was like, "No, Talia, go. Like, you're in a new country. A lot of your friends are going back to New Zealand. This is gonna be a great opportunity for you to meet people and network." And so going to that event, I think that changed my perspective completely from being lone wolf, do it by yourself, to actually know you can lean on people, you can have all these people's support. They've got your back, you've got their back.
Yeah.
And so that's probably been one of my highlights, is the friendships and connections I've made as a result of joining EMF.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. When you kind of talk about that walk, I'll probably say I was pretty similar in the same sort of breath, right? Very much lone wolf, doing my own. You know, not gonna lean on anyone. Where do you feel like that stems for you?
That's, yeah, another great question. In New Zealand, it's a small country, right? Everyone plays sports growing up. There's sort of this mentality that, like, you don't quit till your legs break. You just
Mm.
get up and you go and you hustle and you grind. And I feel like, everyone's parents do the best with what they have when they're raising their kids. And I wouldn't have had my upbringing any other way. So I think it was instilled within me, within my community, from my community, just, nah, you keep going, you
Mm.
push through. It's sort of that old school mentality, right? And I love that I have that, but as I've grown up and aged, I'm sort of like, but it's okay not to be okay too, and it's okay to ask for help. And the EMF community is a perfect place where you can do this, because it's like-minded people who probably who are facing similar sort of adversities, or, hey, what do you do here when you're working out, or what's a supplement for food, or whatnot. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
No,
that's
amazing.
sort of where it stemmed from, but it stemmed and then morphed and grown and changed.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And it's great to see, even for myself, like seeing how well the community just gels and works and supports there. I always see them as an extension of me as a coach,
yeah,
you know, because it's that extra layer, that extra additional level of support. And sometimes people may look at me as like, oh, he's the coach, he doesn't quite get it. But he gets it, but he doesn't quite get it. But do you know what? This person, currently going through the same thing as me. I know that I'd probably say you and Jade probably built a bit more of a bond, a bit more relationship, training together now, arranging your own sessions outside,
yeah.
which really does help, because sometimes, yeah, you know what, training by yourself sometimes can be a little bit of a and then you just want someone else there to be with you. So do you feel like that's what is provided for you, like another opportunity to be able to train with other people as well?
I think it's bifold. So one, it attests to you and the community you've created that it's like great people in it. It's people who take their health and well-being seriously, but also having someone like Jade and even Mags, just having their support constantly is so cool. It pushes me in my training, it pushes them in their training, and it's sort of like you feed off each other, and it's like this euphoric high that you're feeling, but in the gym space. So
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you.
Good. Was there a moment where something just clicked for you?
I think, yeah, yes, of course, there's been a moment where something's just clicked for me, specific in this like recomp journey. I just have this ability to like flip my mindset in regards to my training, and if I've got a goal to achieve, I'm gonna go and do it. I think for me, the openness between us, the communication, how responsive you are, has been huge, and being like, okay, we're just gonna slightly pivot here, Talia. We need to tweak this, do this, and so it's just clicked. It's like, trust the process. Everything's gonna work out. So that's one part of it. I also feel like the other thing that's clicked and that's been so cool is like my mind to muscle connection, and isolating certain body parts. I've sort of trained in the past where it's like, oh, yeah, I can feel that in my glute and hammy, but now I can isolate it to just my glute, and it's like, whoa, this is so cool because you've been able to give me feedback on my movements and how I'm performing exercises. So that's been real cool.
Amazing. A lot of people struggle with that, and I think you glossed over it, but it's actually a real skill of being able to just flip the switch.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yep.
being able to just flip the switch is such a skill which we try to teach and embed in people early on because we have to be able to do that. One, be able to switch it on, one, be able to switch it off sometimes. How have you been able to kind of really perfect that skill of just saying that it's go time?
Yeah. When I say it's go time, it's go time. Like my environment around me, you're either in it and you're going to support it, or actually you're going to go to the back burner for a little bit, and that's okay. Everyone serves a purpose and space in your in your reality. I think flipping the switch though, you've got to be okay with cutting people off, and you've got to be okay that there's going to be people judging you, but this is your journey and you've chosen it for a reason. And I think if you sit with that every day and be like, yeah, I'm doing this because I'm going to show up for me, I'm going to be better for me, then that's how you flip it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. What would you say the hardest part of this, let's say 16 weeks has been so far?
You know what? It actually hasn't been that hard at all. I think when I reflect on the last 16 weeks, you can talk to people about who have done recomps or who have competed on stage or whatnot, and their experience is their experience, right? It might have been really hard for them in some specific aspect, and you can take that on board, but it's also important that you take it with a grain of salt because their experience isn't your experience. I remember going into it thinking, oh my gosh, this person said they were so hungry for this amount of time and they weren't getting enough sleep, or, blah, 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 blah. But actually, that hasn't been my experience at all. I've been able to control the controllables. Okay, so what does my week look like? What does my day look like? When do I have to be asleep by? And I've literally controlled every aspect that I can down to a T. But I think, yeah, as long as you don't take other people's experiences as your own, you can cultivate this absolutely to how you want it to be. So, yeah, I wouldn't say there's been like one specific really hard thing.
Good. What would you say has changed for you now? Not just physically, because some people will look at the photos on the screen now and see where you started to where you are now. I'm like, wow, there's such a difference. And I think some people be even surprised by how much of a different scale ways
Yeah.
it has been, because a lot of people come in and like, I just need to lose about 5 kilos or 10 pounds for those that are American, right?
Yeah.
We've pulled off over 22 pounds. I think we're probably about the 25, 26 pound sort of mark now. What would you say has changed the most for you?
That's crazy. Like I haven't been this weight since I was like, I don't know, 18, 19, and I never thought I would get here again. But as you said, physical changes aside, I think the biggest changes for me is actually I can do it. Like, here's me super scared to even commit to a recomp. I committed to it. I've loved the journey. I'm 2 days out from this photo shoot prep, and I'm already thinking, oh, what's next? Are we going to do a build, and then do we do another cut? Are we going to do a comp? Like, I just think the biggest thing is I'm looking way more broader in my perspective with my health journey than I was when I started with you. I also used to be really embarrassed to post my workouts online. And over the last, especially the last 16 weeks, I'm sort of like, nah, you look really good. Post it. Don't be, I had this fear of judgment of others, and I actually don't have that anymore. It's my life. It's my reality. And it's like, if I want to post that, I'm going to post that. So just the mental shift has been huge.
Do you feel like that's translated into other areas outside of just the four walls of the gym as well?
Absolutely. I've had people come up to me and be like, oh, what are you doing? What are you eating? How are you training? I'm like, miles, EMF, go sign up. So yeah, I've had heaps of people comment on my physique, obviously. One of the highlights, actually, I was in MuscleWorks last week, and this girl came up to me and she was like, I'm obsessed with your back. And I was just like, that's crazy. Like, I had someone come up and compliment me like that. Usually it's me being like, oh my God, you look amazing. So for roles to be reversed into for someone to give me a compliment, that's huge.
Big, very big. How would you say that you feel like day to day compared to where you was before?
Yeah, day to day. I'm feeling really good. Like, again, going through a recomp, you have to be somewhat selfish. So I'm prioritizing everything that I need to first. So, as I said, my sleep, my food, my steps, my cardio, my training, I put that first above everything else. And yeah, I 100% believe I'm leading and living a better life as a result of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Would you I think a lot of things which put a lot of people on standby, or they kind of get a little bit ifs, buts, and maybes about it, because they feel like everything has to stop in their life. How have you found that for yourself?
No, no way. Nothing has to stop. It's about prioritizing what you want and what your goals are. I think that as an individual who's obviously I've made this last 16 weeks my focus, right? So I've explained to my friends, okay, I can't come out, but we can go for a walk and coffee instead. So it's just probably a bit of a push-pull factor. How can we make it work for you? How can we make it work for me? But above all, having your goal at the forefront of your mind.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And even when you say that, and I think that does a lot of things for that relationship as well, and for how people view you. Because if you're coming to someone clearly, concisely, with a goal and intention, and you're actually walking that and living that,
Yeah.
that puts you in a completely different light.
Yeah.
A lot of people are quite wishy-washy in terms of how they move forward, right? But when we can strongly and confidently say, hey, look, you know what, this is where I'm going. I need you to support me in X, Y, and Z. That gives you responsibility, but
Yeah.
also gives you boundaries.
Yep.
It also gives you a sense of, you know, she's someone with purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's someone with purpose, and that changed everything, not only for how people view you, but also how you view yourself.
Absolutely. And I think being able to show that discipline, it's like, cool, I'm disciplined in this specific area, but it translates to almost every single other area of your life, whether if it's work, whether if it's social, whether if it's travel, whether if it's friends, family. It compounds, right, and has a flow-on effect.
Yeah. How have you found kind of like the accountability, the check-ins, and the real coaching help you and change things for you?
I think one thing that stands out for me about you is the ability to show up in person. Obviously, we both live in London, so it makes it a little bit easier, but having the ability to meet and train in person has been huge. But from the online aspect, I love the weekly check-ins. I love the ability to upload sort of, videos of myself for you to critique my movements. And it also, one, holds me accountable, but for you to see my progress, and then for you in turn to relay back to me that this is what you've done, this is what I see as a coach, these are the measures, this is what I'm assessing. We just kind of slightly changed this for this week. So I think the online aspect is great. And then if I bring that in again, over the last sort of 4 weeks, we've been checking in even more regularly ahead of this photo shoot. And that's great because I'm like, whoa, Miles, why did this 1.5 kgs come off overnight? Or why did my weight go up? Or do I need to drink more water or whatnot? So just having that, constant contact with you, incredible. I don't think I've experienced that, or I haven't experienced that anywhere else.
What do you feel like you took away from working with myself that potentially you probably couldn't get just by being online and following influencers and kind of seeing all the information?
Are we allowed to swear on here?
If you want.
You know your ish. Like, I'm not saying those online don't know it, but if you do your research and you look at data and you see coaches' results, you are literally a living and walking example of changing people's lives. So I think that obviously, one, the data speaks for itself, but two, you're so personable. Online, if you're just following influencers, you're not getting that day-to-day contact with your coach. You're not getting that, one-on-one sort of coaching from them. So I think that's what sets you out, is that you're extremely responsive. You have a genuine want and help to help people, and you've shown you've done it through helping how many people's lives, helping and changing so many people's lives.
Amazing, amazing. So for you, I don't think you mentioned we have a photo shoot in 2 days.
2 days.
Come on, very quickly. Got a photo shoot in 2 days.
Yeah.
And the shape is just coming in tighter and tighter each and every single day. So 10 days leading up into the shoot, as you know, there's more manipulations than there typically would be. And it's just been incredible to see, and it's just excitement. Talia submitted a check. What have you got today? And when we see it, and the change has been day and night for the past 7 days.
Yeah.
How are we feeling going into the shoot on Friday?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm feeling really good. Physically, I'm feeling incredible. Mentally, I'm feeling incredible. I'm looking forward to it, seeing what what the day brings. I think though, if I reflect on that in the last 16 weeks, so obviously, I say this all the time, but so I'm Māori, obviously, which is Indigenous people from New Zealand, and we back home we live in like communities, and we don't sort of follow the Western world sort of structures with how we live. We've got our own language, our own way of being, and one of the ways of being is we live through proverbs, and we have this proverb in Māori, but in English it basically says, "My success is not of that of mine alone, but of that of a collective." And I reflect on my last 16 weeks, and I would not have been able to get to this point without you, obviously, as my coach, helping me, guiding me. Obviously, I've had to put in the work myself, but it's the community around you or around us that you've built, which is which attests to my outcomes. And so for that, I'm extremely grateful. And yeah, I'm super excited for Friday and can't wait to see how everything turns out.
Comes together.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. And even talking to the photographer, I'm like, bro, the photography, this shoot is going to be so easy for you because she's just in incredible shape, and it makes things so much easier.
Yeah,
you know,
it's exciting.
And plus it's been a nice difference because you're coming into this shoot feeling refreshed. Like we're here 2 days before, feeling good, energy's in a good place, we're sleeping super well. You know, food is still at a decent spot. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you've done this in the right way. A lot of people want to rush the steps, rush the process. Like, I want to be in a shoot ready next week, or I want to get ready for a holiday in 4 weeks or 8 weeks. And realistically, and I'll be honest, when it comes to working with women, we want to give it more time to get into shape. There's so much other complications which you have to take into consideration. And a lot of people don't allow that sort of time. So the fact that you've been here for 6 months, right? And people look at that first picture and say, oh, she doesn't need 6 months to change. She could do it in about 4 weeks or 8 weeks. It's like, no, we've been working it for 6 months, and we can kind of see the result of that, not only in how you look, but how you felt going through that process as well, because that's the thing which typically deters a lot of people. It's because they feel absolutely terrible going through it. They go through these drastic changes, so they only can last for a short period of time. You know, and they don't allow themselves the period of time to be able to get there. So with us, we've been able to do it in a systematic and a periodic way to be able to say, okay, cool, look, first stage, there's some foundational things which you was out of sync with. You said you wasn't tracking before as closely as you would, and training, you could have probably pushed a bit harder, and that's what we had to lay down the foundations first. Great, we did that. And that earned you the right to say, hey, look, you know what? I want to go for a photo shoot. It's like, well, of course we can. Let's go and do it. You know, we made that happen. And I think what's incredible, we made that decision just ahead of Christmas, right?
Yeah. Started before Christmas.
Another reason people say, oh, Christmas is coming up, birthday's coming up,
Yeah.
New Year's is coming up, a holiday next week. But you decided that I'm still going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Even in such a busy period. How was that?
That was so fun. I mean, there's no excuses, right? Like, showing up for yourself should be the first and foremost thing that you do every day. As cliched as you only live once, like, I don't want to be 80 on my deathbed wishing that, oh, I wish I did that photo shoot, or I wish I committed. I'm like, no, the time is now. Like, yeah, we've got the future, we've got the past, but actually the time is right now to do it. So go and do it. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Good. And I say as well, it's like the fact that you've been able to handle the busy.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people try to wait for the quiet periods and get a result in the quiet period. But when the busy comes, like, panic sets in and they want to flee, right? But when circumstances are not favorable in your situation, or there's chaos which is erupting because that happens, whether that's work, personal, professional, whatever that may look like, that's going to happen in life, right? But you've been able to deal with that in so many different circumstances, which puts you, again, another step forward and saying, you know what, I can still handle the busy. If things hit the fan, I still know what I'm doing because I've done it before.
That's it. And I think, one, it obviously creates structure. You also don't know when you're going to be busy or when it's a light period of time to be able to commit, right? Like, a lot of people won't know, but in the background, I've just finished my work contract, right? So I'm currently unemployed as of today. I have to move out of my apartment next week. My dad's coming over. We're traveling. Like, just because I may show online that it doesn't look busy, it doesn't mean I'm not busy. I just know how to control every aspect of my life where I can control it. And with the rest of it, I'm like, it's all going to work out. We just go with the flow. We've got structures in place where we need to. And that is enough in itself to get going.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I really like that proverb as well, which you shared. I'm gonna have that somewhere. I don't know where it's gonna be, but it's gonna be reused.
Absolutely.
So if you see it, you see it. With someone that is on the edge, they're thinking about getting started. What would you say to that person?
I would say just do it. It is the best investment that one could possibly make in themselves. Like, again, people take their health for granted, but it can always be improved. It can always be better. I think to lead and live a beautiful life, you want a healthy body, you want a healthy mind. And if you are questioning getting a coach, why are you questioning it? It can only improve you at the end of the day. It can only make you a better person. So just do it.
If you was now to speak directly to Talia circa 6 months ago, what do you think she'll say about you today?
She'll be like, girl, you're crazy. She'll be like, yeah, I knew you could do it. You're always going to do it. But the fact that you're here now is incredible. I think a lot of people get caught up with the end goal. And I think one thing that's made this last 16 weeks and 6 months easier for me is that you literally take it day by day. Yep, you know the end goal is in sight and mind, but you're not looking towards that every day. It's all the little habits that compound on a daily basis, which will get you to that end point, looking great, feeling good. So I think that's the important thing to note here is just day by day, it's little actions, keep doing them and it will pay off. You don't see change straight away, but I promise you it's coming.
For sure.
So, yeah.
For sure. Now, looking forward, you was kind of talking about, you got a photo shoot where you just kind of had those thoughts about what's thereafter. Where do you feel like you settled with that? Or are you not settled yet?
You and I can chat about that.
Yeah.
But where I'm thinking in my mind at the moment in terms of like my health and wellbeing journey, either we go into maintenance for a little bit and then do a build, or we go straight into a build. Like, I'm so excited to do this again. Obviously, there's a couple of other factors we need to consider. Is it a comp? Is it another photo shoot? Is it just improving my life even more? So that's sort of where I'm at. We'll discuss it further, but yeah, I can't wait to do it all over again.
Good. Amazing. Anything else on your end?
No, I think that's it. I think, I just want to test to you and say thank you to you. You've been an amazing coach. Loved working with you, especially the last 16 weeks. And just having that support and accountability there has been huge. And if anyone can take anything away from that, that's what they need to know, is that they'll get that from you. They'll get that from the EMF community. They'll get that from me if they have any questions. So get involved, get it done, and everything else will fall into place.
Amazing. And what's funny as well, because even when I saw you it was Pure Gym as well, what time? When I saw you in Pure Gym and you was training, I was like, it would be amazing to train her.
Hey!
Trainer, and I think you had a coach at that time as well. I was like, all right, cool. Let's see kind of how that plans out. So it's been an amazing journey to be able to kind of get to this point now where we've done the work and the vision which I've had's come to light as well to actually see this in front of us now. So it's been amazing, and thank you as well for being such an amazing member and big part of the community as well.
You know what's really funny is, like, at Pure Gym too, I had the exact same thoughts. I was like, yeah, I'm going to train with him one day. I was just like, at that point, obviously, just paths hadn't quite aligned, but it's funny how these things come full circle. And a couple of years later, we're here right now doing a podcast. Like, how cool is that? So, no, I appreciate that. And funny how, paths align like that.
Exactly. Last question for you.
Yep.
You know that I'm big on my reading, especially this year, turn things up. What would be one book that you would recommend for someone to read?
The first book that came to mind was Atomic Habits. I think that's a great book. Or if you're sort of wanting a bit more of an open perspective, The Alchemist. I think that's a really good book too.
That is Coelho, I believe the name is.
Yep.
Why The Alchemist?
I just think it changes your perspective on life, and that not everything's meant to be controlled, and sometimes you just have to have faith in the path that you walk and that everything will plan out as it's meant to. So that's sort of why I suggested that book.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.